Hey guys, Matt Griffiths, one of the resident coaches here. Just popping on, I just saw a thread on here and I thought it best to do a quick live to go through a few things because there's a lot of information being thrown around with the best intents. It's always with the best intent from people, I know that, into relation to a few myths of squatting. Obviously, it's a subject I've studied for quite a long time, and as a strength trainer for many, many years, the squat has become something that I've been very, very fortunate to work alongside, some of the greatest squatters on earth, and I've seen some of the best lifts done. And there is more technicality to it than people give credit for. But this is just about the myths that surround it. Well, I've just seen a few comments, three major points which I'm going to bring up just to quash them, just to give you some reassurance on them, and just to give you my 2 cents as a mechanical specialist. Now, and I'm tidying my table while I'm doing this. The first one is the head position. The comment that was made for this individual was to look up because it will help keep the back straight. Now, this one's not as widely believed. It's been relatively quashed quite recently across the internet in general anyway. But the general rule for the head, the easiest way to say it is noggin in neutral. You don't need to be looking back. It doesn't do anything in terms of lifting strength. When research has been conducted, the best sort of position for strength for the head during any lift is actually about a fist gap between the chest. So a neutral position, it's more to do with the position of your sternum and your rib cage and the rotation of your rib cage and the engagement of the lats and traps as opposed to the actual head, which is just sitting on top of them. It's not a motorbike. People say you go where your head goes. It does if you're riding a motorbike or a push bike. It's not true of a squat. Some of the best squatters in the world look straight ahead or actually look down because it's about the back position and the position of the trunk and the rib cage on top of it, not the actual head. So that's the first one. Number 2, one that always comes up in any debate around squats is depth. And the comments always come up of, I'm staying at this particular height, usually just above 90 degrees, because I'm keeping the tension in my quads. Quite a common one, this is. It's actually untrue as well, because the maximum EMG in the quadricep, and the only point where it engages at all 9 attaching points, as one of the heads actually splits at one end, is at 90 degrees or below. That's where the maximum EMG for the quadricep actually occurs. It's also where the maximum EMG for the glute occurs, the glute major. So yes, your bum does take work, but the quad is most active deep. Okay, so this whole stopping above parallel, what it actually does is places maximum shear forces through the cruciate ligaments. You're effectively stopping away and the force runs straight to the knee joint and can cause a lot of pressure behind the patella to the side of the patella, a lot of lateral shift going on there which can cause severe problems going forward. I've seen people have some severe injuries, kneecaps popped, all sorts of stuff in the powerlifting world. It's not pleasant. So depth wise, you want to be dipping lower. As you start dropping down like this, the force actually rebounds back through the quad. So it attaches through the quad once you dip below that point. It's a perfectly natural position to be in. It's just that humans lose the flexibility as they get older. If you watch tribesmen in the jungle, if you watch children when they play, they squat quite naturally below parallel. It is a very natural position to be in. I'll tell you why, if you're actually interested. It's quite disgusting. What it actually does, this position, is it straightens the colon. So if you've ever served, if you've ever been in the military, as I have, you'll find that when you're in the field, if you squat down and you have to defecate, you will notice you will have to do very, very little wiping because your colon is not curved in that position. It becomes straight. It is a perfectly natural position to be in. It is not dangerous. It actually takes the pressure off the knees. Okay? An ass a bum. Fortunately, Philip, an ass spelled A-S-S is another name for a donkey, so you'll have to learn it's actually arse, A-R-S-E. But, hey, we invented the language. Just playing with you there. And the next one, what have we done here? We've done head position, we've done depth. The next one that comes up is always one of controversy. Because mechanically speaking, as someone who has done slow motion captures of many weightlifters, many athletes, one of the number one pieces of advice that coaches actually give athletes is incorrect. the squat is coming, and the first thing they'll do is say, break at the hips first. Break at the hips first. It's not actually correct, because if you break at the hips first without breaking at the knee beforehand, you actually place severe shear force through the lumbar spine, and it displaces horizontally the weight pattern. Yes, I know you've been having fun. So yes, you actually break. It's almost simultaneous, the knee and the hips, but the knee has to break slightly first. All you need to do to test this little theory when you're trying to do perhaps a stiff leg deadlift or good morning, lock your knee out and then push it, break at the hips first and see where the tension goes. Because you'll immediately feel it in the lower back. It tightens around the top of the glute medius and it puts severe shear forces through. So your vertebrae are sat like that, and it puts a severe shear force straight through them. Whereas if you break at the knee first, it actually allows the hips to engage correctly, all muscles firing in the same sequence. Jesse, what have you put? My left wrist is in tremendous pain when under any pressure at all, and I've taken a long break. Any idea what it could be? It's not a squat myth, is what that is. It could be many things. It could be too much adult entertainment on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you're right-handed, I don't know. Ambidextrous, I believe we call that. But I would honestly, I'd get it checked out. I'd get it checked out. I'm not a doctor by any sense of the word, so I would go and get that checked out, because it could be any number of things. So yes, those were the three main myths I wanted to address there. Head position, the rule for that is simple: noggin in neutral. Noggin in neutral. Depth-wise, if you manage to get down below parallel, you'll actually save your knees. This doesn't mean below parallel with your weight pushed forward onto your toes, by the way. This does actually mean below parallel with the weight pushed through the middle to rear of your foot, spreading the floor. That is the best position to be in for that. And the last one is breaking at the hips first. You don't want to break at the hips first, because it actually displaces the force of the weight, puts severe shear force through the spine. You break slightly at the knee first, and then that allows the hips to sit back while the bar path remains above the middle to rear of your foot, about where you do your shoelaces up. So there you go, quick one for that, and I'm very tired and I'm going to have a quick nap now, because it's quiet around here and I deserve one. So hopefully that's of use to you. Take care, guys.